Hey, hey everyone. Sorry I'm super late, everybody. Apparently I got caught in a bit of a traffic jam on my way home from work. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys having a good day, or hoping that you guys have better days ahead. For me, well, other than I'm doing fine. Just another day of work, and all that. But anyway, this is Marlon here, and this is episode 73 of Mushroom City in Minecraft. Let's see, we got a lot to talk about today in terms of the weather, and I've heard, based on what's going on in the tropics, but we'll get to that in about a couple minutes. But right now, let's just talk about what's going on in our backyard right now. So, I'll try to make this quick and half-ass this. Oh, and let me get my phone, because I need... Yeah, because I need my phone so that I can read the chat. I mean, like sometimes I would overlook that, folks. Hold on a minute. Just bear with me on this one. Okay, let me see. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, now that I got the chat with me right in front of me. Now let's see what we got in terms of the active weather alerts. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I'm just making sure everything's fine on my end. Alright, so there are 36 active weather alerts. 5 severe thunderstorm warnings in Virginia and Canada. 1 flash flood warning in Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia. 4 special marine warnings in Maryland, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, New York, and Virginia. And 8 special weather statements in Mississippi, Alabama, California, Virginia, Maryland, Louisiana, West Virginia. 3 dense fog advisories, 9 flood warnings, and 6 red flag warnings. Alright, so let's take a look at what's going on in the U.S. So let's take a look in places like the Northeast. So what do we have? Well, folks, we do have a warm front that's in position throughout places like northern Pennsylvania, the Hudson Valley of New York, Connecticut, and then transitions into a stationary front as it moves out to sea and then becomes a cold front later on. But because of this, there is plenty of wet weather that's moving into the Northeast, places like Virginia, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Washington area, West Virginia, and even parts of New England getting some rain going on. That's because you do have a stationary front to the west, which we'll get to it just momentarily. And other than that, we do have some special marine warnings out in Lake Erie in the New York side. And there are some, there is 1 severe thunderstorm warning just located southwest of Richmond. Special weather statement and a flash flood warning is located in Huntington, West Virginia, and a special weather statement just to the west and northwest of Charleston. More special marine warnings in Chesapeake Bay, and another special weather statement just east of Warsaw, Virginia. Well, folks, overall, it does look like as though that there's plenty of wet weather to go around, and in fact, let's see, we start off with Boston, clouds still lingering, New York getting some showers going, yet it'll become more intermittent as the night progresses. Philly getting showers right now, going down to Baltimore, clouds there, Washington as well, with a little bit more kick to the showers though. Richmond just experienced some moderate to heavy rain, moderate rain as it passes through the capital, but more is to be anticipated in the next few minutes. Let's go to the south, where I'm seeing right now is that there are flash flood discussions throughout places like Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. That's because there is a stationary front in position in Arkansas, parts of Missouri, Kentucky, and there's a cold front swinging through Arkansas, Louisiana, and southern Texas. All of this is leading to some somewhat severe storms in places like South Texas, all the way to Tennessee and Alabama, Mississippi. But daytime showers and thunderstorms are in Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, and northern Georgia. In the mountainous parts, they're dealing with some pop-up showers and thunderstorms right ahead of the stationary front and cold front, but just to the west of the dry line, though. In terms of active weather alerts, well, let's see. Folks in Tennessee, I'm not seeing anything. Carolinas and Georgia, not much is going on right now. Not even in Atlanta, but Florida. Not much, though. Alabama, Mississippi, just a little bit. One special weather statement in the two states. Just to the south-southeast of Meridian, Mississippi. And another one in Slidell, and another one in just northwest of Lafayette, Louisiana. But there are three of which. There's a special marine warning on the east side of Lake Pontchartrain. And New Orleans is getting hit with some thunderstorms, hit and miss ones, and affecting elsewhere throughout the Gulf Coast. Just to the outside of New Orleans. Baton Rouge getting some rain going, Gulfport, and points north throughout the entire Magnolia State. And Alabama, right along, mostly along I-65. It's going to be treacherous there with a special weather statement issued just to the northeast of Birmingham, Alabama, southeast of Huntsville. And yet they're approaching slowly towards Atlanta in a matter of a few hours, probably by the end of the stream, though. A flood warning is issued west of Daytona Beach. In the Midwest, mostly dry throughout much of the Midwest, from Minnesota and the Dakotas all the way to Iowa and Nebraska, but just a few showers still lingering there. Kansas, some spotty showers and storms still hovering through the Sunflower State. Plenty of showers and thunderstorms in much of Missouri and in some parts of Illinois, particularly on the south side. A few of which still remaining in Indiana, and just a little bit of showers in Ohio, Kentucky. Flash flood warning is there, and as well as the southern tip of Ohio. Thunderstorms are on the western side of the state. In Michigan, there are thunderstorms, but it's just outside of the country, though. But other than that, much of the lower peninsula of Michigan, plus the eastern tip of the upper peninsula, they got thunderstorms. Wisconsin, quite clear. But there's still flood warning, just located in Aberdeen, South Dakota. And two others, just to the northwest and south of Wichita, Kansas. Oklahoma, I failed to mention, there are two more flood warnings located just to the east of Tulsa. And in the west, well, much of the west looks dry except for some remaining moisture that's still located throughout places like Central California, the San Francisco Bay Area, Sacramento. Much of the Central Valley still getting some showers going and affecting places like Sacramento and Chico. About to get some in a matter of a moment, but just a little bit though of clouds, maybe barely a few showers. And in fact, there is a cold front just in position in the Pacific Northwest, moving towards the east. But along the way, there is a red flag warning that's been issued throughout much of the eastern half of the Evergreen State. But so far, folks, I'm not seeing much radar. I mean, usually whenever you see a cold front, there would be precipitation to go along with it. But however, this is just more along the lines of a very, very dry type of setup for a cold front. Temperatures are going down, but there's still a lot of dry air. So much dry air that there wouldn't be enough precipitation to produce at this moment in the Pacific Northwest. Now, let's transition to here. Alright. Now I'm gonna do myself a favor and just reposition myself. Okay, so what do we got? Current conditions right now, we can see that strong winds are moving onshore, but they're blowing to the west as it moves inland in New England and upstate New York. But down south in places like Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Jersey, and even Long Island is getting some southerly winds, but New England winds are only topping about up to 20 miles an hour. In New England, also 20 miles an hour, but except for Chesapeake Bay, up to 25 miles an hour. In the south, so you can see, well, there in the southeast, you do have lots of southwesterly winds, blowing up to 25 miles an hour from the Mississippi River Valley, from the eastern side of the Mississippi all the way from the Mississippi River to the Atlantic coast. Florida, they're getting some sea breezes, strong ones blowing into inland parts of Florida on the peninsula part, which is responsible for bringing in some daytime thunderstorms throughout that part of Florida. But yet, it's not blowing any more than 15 miles an hour throughout much of the Sunshine State. In Arkansas, Louisiana, well, let's see, Louisiana has southwesterly winds blowing at up to 25 miles an hour. Arkansas, winds coming from the north shift to the northeast at up to 25 miles an hour. In Oklahoma and much of Texas, you're seeing northerly winds, but they end up moving to the south-southwest. But yet, it's combined with some the Gulf breeze pushing the winds to the southwest instead. And for the most part, in northern Texas, western Texas, and much of Oklahoma, they're only blowing up to 30 miles an hour. And in the Midwest, much of the Midwest, particularly in the Central Plains and much of the Great Lakes region, and in the northern half of the Ohio River Valley, winds are coming from the north, blowing up to 30 miles an hour in some places, a little light to the north in places like South Dakota, Minnesota, but in North Dakota, they're blowing its winds to the northeast at up to 30 miles an hour there. In Kentucky, winds are moving to the east-northeast at up to 20 miles an hour there. Yet, cold front, it's bringing in cold air, and it's responsible for bringing in cold air in places like Chicago and Green Bay and Marquette. But right now, I'll check that out as soon as I'm done with the West. In the west, some parts of the west, there are light and variable winds, especially the Great Basin and much of the desert southwest. But yeah, in the eastern side and southern side of New Mexico, winds are blowing to the west at up to 30 miles an hour in some places. In eastern Montana and eastern Wyoming, winds are blowing to the northeast at up to 30 miles an hour too. California, seeing some sea breeze kicking in, blowing up to 20 miles an hour there. But yet in the Central Valley, they're blowing up to 25 miles an hour. In the desert between LA and Vegas, they're blowing up to 30 miles an hour in some places. Let's talk about temperature. See what we got. Okay, so in New England, you do have temperatures that are sitting between the low 60s and actually make that upper 50s to low 70s. in upstate New York and Pennsylvania.